players here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Smokin.
All right, good evening, and it is the 200th episode of Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. And conveniently, yesterday I hit 200 subscribers. Thank you to all the viewers for subscribing, liking, and sharing my video, getting the word out there. Michael Hutt comes in, and he says, greetings from Charlotte and Merry Christmas to the panel. Go Lions. Patty Grimes says, what's up, guys? We're about to get into some Lion subjects, but first I want to introduce my guest.
Yo, I lost all my sound. Hold on.
Ben Smith says, happy 200. My guests are brand new Lions. They're Dom DeRubis. We have Dan Leonard of Mad Lab Custom Creations saying ho ho homers. And Big Dan Davis.
Yeah.
So that being said, the first thing I want to get into is who made the Pro Bowl, who's the alternates, and who do you feel like are the snubs? Frank the Tank Ragnow for the Lions is the only Pro Bowler, and I say at least two snubs from the starting roster, Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God, but both are listed as alternates with 7 others. These 7 others are Aiden Hutchinson, Taylor Decker, Jared Goff, Jamal Williams, Jonah Jackson, Khalif Raymond, and Jason Kambinda. So, what do you guys think about the 2 snubs I said? And I think you got to throw Kirby in there too, seeing how he led the NFC in voting for a safety.
Meh. Rookies, I don't know about. I'll say Penei Sewell. I'll give him that. So, Amon-Ra, absolutely.
Right now, as right tackles are concerned, Penei Sewell is ranked in the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, is it? I'm trying to think about the other right tackles in the NFC. Like, is it?
Nemo Crenshaw, how about them Lions? Patty Grimes, and she says Jared Goff was the biggest snub. Khalif Raymond should 100% be a punt returner for the Pro Bowl, according to Ben Smith. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
Who got the nod at punt return for the NFC?
Some bum. Just kidding. I don't know. And Gun Guy comes in and says, stay warm, boys. It's blowing in the mitten. Playoffs, baby. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I've been blowing into my mittens all day because 20 below is awful. Michael Huck says Goff over Cousins. Absolutely. He only got in because their record's better.
Yeah, it'd be about it, too. Yeah, but Sun God should have been thrown in there as a starter. Definitely Sewell. And I agree on Kirby Joseph. I mean, he was leading in votes, and it would have been nice to see him in there for sure.
Yeah, I said that.
Here's why. Oh, that's right. I heard this the other day. So the 4 wide receivers from the NFC are Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown. No arguments there. CeeDee Lamb, Terry McLaurin. Guess what? Amon-Ra has more catches, more yards, and more touchdowns on less targets than Terry McLaurin.
I know.
He's a Lion is why he's not in the Pro Bowl, honestly, dude.
Yeah, it's 100% that.
I mean, no one was voting for any Lion for the first 7 weeks of the season, and the coaches had no respect for it until recently. But TJ Hawkinson's in the Pro Bowl.
Vikings have better fans.
Oh, shut up. That's not it.
They vote more. That is what it is.
No, believe it or not, TJ Hawkinson's been leading the Pro Bowl voting while he was a Lion before he went.
He was, actually. Most of the rest of it, I can't
Mark
really.
Malik comes in and goes, woo! BU Super Bowl or bust. Let's get to the playoffs first. That's all I got to say. I think we will. But
still got some work to do.
The crying that I want to see is not going to be in Detroit. The crying I want to see is going to be Green Bay, and it's going to be Karen Rodgers as she pouts off the field in Miami, because I have the feeling they're getting housed.
I agree.
Housed.
I don't see it.
I got a feeling they might not.
No, they're going to get housed.
I mean, Miami's at least winning that game, I think.
Don't see it.
I do. Mark Malik says, fuck yeah, let's go Dolphins. Blow them bitches out. The reason why I see it is they've only got one good corner. They got an okay safety, and everybody else is kind of men out right now, the way they're playing on that secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is definitely underperforming. That was supposed to be their calling card this year for the most part.
They're not.
Oh, question for the panel. Would the Lions have been a better Hard Knocks in season than the Cardinals? Yes.
Yes, I agree.
When did the Cardinals one start?
November 9th.
I think Hard Knocks is the worst thing ever.
Ben Smith says Goff had a bad season last year because his OC was Anthony Lynn. Lions are currently in the middle of a rebuilding process, but so far they're so good. Absolutely. Dom and I we're on the we don't need to get rid of Goff train. He's playing well enough. He's done everything we've asked him to do.
And even with the slow start, other than that one game with a bunch of fumbles, you can't blame Goff.
Yeah.
And you still have Goff here for another 2 years anyway.
The bad part is, in that game where there was a bunch of fumbles, there was only one fumble by Goff that game.
Yeah.
The other two fumbles was Jamal Williams.
That was a different game. Goff had like a multiple fumble game early in the year, didn't he?
This year? No. That was last year.
Are you sure? Maybe it was like 2 fumbles, only 1 lost, and like a couple picks.
I only remember one multiple pick game. I remember one fumble. And that was the one when it got punched out in New England.
Yeah, that's basically the only thing that Patriots fans are clinging to.
Ben Smith asks, question for the panel. Will the Lions win a playoff game this season if they make it there? I'm going to leave it at that. If they make it there. Because right now, the number 2 seed, and they got it by 2 games, is Minnesota. Yeah. And I think we'll house them.
Could we please get Minnesota in the playoffs?
Oh, my God, it would be great.
It's going to be either Minnesota or 49ers, right? One of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Malik, Lions will always be the best choice as long as Dan Campbell coaches here, and I hope that surpasses my lifetime. Amen.
Hold on.
He goes, fucky, they will win if Minnesota's the opponent. Right now, if we get in, it will be as a 7th seed because the Commanders and Giants have the edge with the tie right now. So if the record's the same, they'll stay above us.
Such bullshit. I still say it was a fucking conspiracy.
It probably was.
Like, we already beat both of you, and they're like, oh, let's tie.
But in order for the Packers-Lions game to mean anything, both of us have to win out. And then the Packers would have to beat us by more than 6 points.
Wait, down to points?
It would come down to points because we beat them the first time.
That's not the next tiebreaker. It's like conference record or something.
And we'd have the better conference record. But we'd have the same conference record if it comes down to that. If we win out.
Even before points, it's like record against common opponents or something, isn't it? Fuck that. Let's not even worry about that. Let's just go beat Carolina.
Hatter's House says, "Go Lions," and my dad says, "Hey guys, what's up, Crazy Ken?"
What's up, Ken?
I want to say Merry Christmas to all you out there.
Oh, my
It is the Christmas holiday.
on?
Hey, I don't know what's going on, but we hear you.
Feeding his children, I think.
It sounded like it. I heard something go crunchy.
JB, I'll try to be back in a minute. I keep losing all my sound here.
Okay, buddy. We got you.
The return specialist for the NFC is Kevontae Turpin from the Cowboys.
Washington has to lose one, and Giants need to lose 2 games for us to move to the 6th position.
So 6, then we
Goodell called Giants and Commander at the beginning of overtime and told them to tie.
telling you.
Pre-draft Lions predictions. With the Rams pick, they either take Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, whoever's available.
I mean, assuming they stay at 3.
No, right. Even at 4, we should get Jalen Carter because the Seahawks will be the only one picking before them because Denver's so bad.
They won't be, but if both Anderson and Carter is on the board, who you taking?
I would take Carter over Anderson because we need a more dominant interior defensive pressure.
I agree.
More than we need the linebacker.
And then at 15, if he's there,
Porter.
It's either Trenton Simpson, linebacker out of Clemson, or Joey Porter Jr., cornerback. I don't think Joey will fall that far.
Are we still at 15 with ours? I thought we were at 18 last I looked, but hell,
Can't be 18.
One of the two.
18's a playoff team.
Yeah.
Denver needs to win this weekend. I predicted them to win because of that. I was looking at draft position. Gun Guy, what do you think about Aaron Bitch Boy's comment on our record the other night? Yeah, he's jealous that it's not his.
Yeah.
And Mark Malik, you take whoever Brad Holmes thinks is the best because Brad Holmes is the motherfucking king. I love it. Pardon me. Oh, can't laugh and breathe at the same time. It doesn't go well.
Right. Oh.
There, that's better.
Lions are favored by, I think last I saw, 2.5 tomorrow. Yeah.
100%. It's 2.5. What is up with all the half points now instead of just doing 3 like it used to be?
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, 2.5. Like, how do you do that?
I hear kids. Dom must have visitors.
Because Vegas is never wrong.
That might be little Dan. He's pretty hyper out in the other rooms.
Oh, okay. Patty Grimes. Guys, do you have a second favorite team beside the Lions? I like the Lions and University of Michigan. That's about it.
Yeah, same here.
King SJ. Evening also. Pumped for the game tomorrow. We all are. And he says, Vegas doesn't like a push. And here's something for us Lions fans to also get excited about. Lions have moved to 5th in the NFC power rankings and 7th overall in the entire NFL power rankings. What do you think about that, Big Dan?
I love that. That's awesome. I mean, who would have thunk after starting this season 1-6 that we would be in the position that we are now? I'm even still a little shocked by it. But yeah, that shows also we're starting to get the recognition that we haven't had in a while, you know?
What do power rankings even mean?
Power rankings has to do with your strength of schedule, and by far, the Lions have the easiest schedule to end the season, with having one of the toughest schedules to start the season after they look at the record of who we played overall. They're saying that the record's strength of schedule was a 0.59 now instead of a leak. And Gun Guy goes, that half point is how Vegas makes their money. Absolutely
Exactly.
it is. But hey, I got some good news for everybody. I am now one Chicago loss from being paid for my 4 NFC North over-under parlay.
That is awesome.
That 7th win sealed it for the Lions. The 10th win sealed it for the Vikings. The 8th loss sealed it for the Green Bay Slackers. I just need one more Chicago loss, and I'm getting paid.
That's probably coming this weekend.
Yeah, they're playing the Bills.
Right.
Yeah, Justin Fields is like walking wounded.
Justin Fields isn't starting.
Oh, he's that hurt?
Seaman is starting.
Trevor Siemian.
It'd either be him or Boyle, since they got Boyle on the main roster now.
Is that who signed Boyle?
Chicago, yeah, Chicago plucked him and they put him on their active roster.
Hey, for everybody's that whined and bitch that we had to get rid of them, we lost them all to other teams and they were signed off our practice squad. Were our backup quarterbacks really that bad? Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we brought Steven Montez back to the practice squad.
Yep, Steven Montez to the practice squad because Josh, holy smokes, Dom. Are you okay?
Phone
it looked like you died. Nice, Jeremy. How much do you win on that last week? I hit on Green Bay, Detroit, and Minnesota for $1,500. The over/under, the 4-team parlay, I made a $50 bet. I will win $753. For a $50 bet, it was worth it.
It's funny, speaking of backups, because
Patty Grimes, the bus 12 off the bench for the win. TB12, Tim Boyle.
Yeah. Tim Boyle.
Mark Malik says, nice score, Jeremy.
Funny about backups.
All Boyle is going to do is hold a clipboard like he did here.
And we lose by 25.
When?
Pistons just now.
Oh.
No, I was saying, speaking of backups, because I just saw it on Memories from, I believe, 11, maybe 12 years ago. I believe it was the 2010-2011 season where Stafford missed the last several
six games.
It might have been more than that.
No, he missed 6 his rookie year, and he missed like most of the whole season of his second year.
Right, but when we had excellent backups, Sean Hill, who's statistically one of the best backups of all time,
and Drew Stanton.
He went like 2-1, and then Stanton started. We were running the option, and we won that game because that was the post I saw. It was like, who's this fucking Stanton guy? Like, obviously I knew, but I'm like, wow. But I'm going to say the same thing about our backups that I said at the beginning of the year.
I hope they never see the field.
Right. Like, would it be nice to have better backups? Sure. If you lose your starting quarterback for an extended period of time, you're screwed.
And speaking of practice squad, guys, I had to bring this up as my third subject. Joshua Dobbs signed from the Lions practice squad to back up Malik Willis after Tannehill's injury. He's out for the season. So you got Malik Willis, who's a one read and run quarterback, and Josh Dobbs, the Ethiopian alien.
Yeah.
Alopecia.
What's that?
Alopecia. You don't know what that is?
Is that skin disease thing you're talking about?
Yeah.
No, that isn't why I'm calling him that. I'm calling him that because of his head shape and the fact he looks like he could imitate a gray man in Canada coming out of a spaceship.
True. Yeah, the alopecia. Just like Charlie Villanueva. Oh, I just got sick to my stomach when I said that name.
Willis at number 2, Panis Granny Crime says. Last year, everybody said, "Oh, we're going to hear." Remember, as soon as Trayvon Walker went off the board, maybe this is where we see Malik Willis goes. And then the Lions trade up to 12. Is this where we see Malik Willis go?
It was quite a few years ago. Well, I don't know, at least a handful to several. But some other draft where they thought some quarterback was going to go high in the first round and they didn't go till like way late.
Aaron Rodgers.
No, it wasn't, not that far back.
Well, he was one.
I don't remember.
It wasn't Manziel.
Love the Josh Dobbs thing because, for a variety of reasons, because now we will
over under. Do we see Josh Dobbs take the field by the end of the first half or mid third quarter?
Third quarter.
Whose time does it play?
Titans. God, you had to ask me now. I forget.
Hang on, I'll look.
Mark Mallett said, "I wanted Willis at 2. Glad Holmes is the GM." Me too. Teddy Bridgewater was pretty hyped the year he got drafted. You are absolutely right, King SJ.
Still would have taken Bridgewater 3 years ago as a bridge. I forgot who was I even asking about? Oh, the Texans.
See how hard it would be to replace Goff at 4. Look at the Jets blow top 3 on 2 top 3s on quarterbacks. Absolutely. Geno Smith.
No, it wasn't him either.
I'm betting against Tennessee. I need Malik on the field. Come on, Vrabel.
Is this where
Geno Smith was touted as a first-round talent and went in the second? You're absolutely right. And that was a down year for quarterbacks that year, too, if I remember right.
I feel like first round with
Geno.
Yes, this is where Malik Willis is so bad that the Texans get their second win.
Oh, butt fumble.
That
dropped too.
He still went in like the top 10.
Did he?
Yeah. And guess what? Sad as it sounds, Mark Sanchez is the best quarterback the Jets have had since either Chad Pennington or
Testaverde.
Yep.
I still remember when they first started to being able to hear players' names instead of numbers on Madden. And somebody reprogrammed it and they did a little video and they put it out there. This was before YouTube got as big as it is now. It was still big then. But it said, and there he is, Vinny Testanutze.
Testicle Verdi.
He was sweet once he got to the Jets.
And Lions fans wanted Sanchez over Stafford, same draft class.
What Lions fan?
Yeah. Stafford, stupid, awful, correct.
I didn't.
That's 3 top 10 Jets blow on QBs. And my dad says he was never impressed with Testaverde. He had good numbers for the Jets, though.
A quarterback. who played college in the state of Florida. Isn't Testaverde colorblind? And he used to bitch about the Bucks home jerseys because they weren't.
He couldn't distinguish them from the whites. Yeah, that was him. And you know what's funny is I think he had a record in that 3 years before they changed, because that was right at the end of the creamsicle era.
Yep.
It was like 3 years straight. He led the league in interceptions in Tampa on the away games. It was like almost a record over those 3 seasons. Yep, creamsicle jerseys. I wish they'd bring them back. I love the creamsicles.
Yeah, those are some of my favorites ever. Like, I would give up Christmas and birthdays for the rest of my life if I could see Tom Brady die on the field in a creamsicle jersey.
I got the banner. I don't even need to put it up. For the keys to the game versus Carolina. 100%. There are 2 people to avoid on the Carolina Panthers defense, if at all possible. We need the O-line to neutralize Brian Burns. 100%. He wreaks havoc in the backfield for tackles for loss and sacks. And the other one is avoid wherever J.C. Horn is in the secondary. He's a ball hawk. He bats balls down. He snatches it out of people's hands. That guy is pretty good. And I said he would be. I didn't expect him to be a top 10 pick, because that's one of the ones I got wrong that year, if you remember right, Dom.
Uh-huh.
He's the one I always forget. Is like, because wasn't it him, then Patrick Surtain in back-to-back pits?
Yep. Surtain's been good, though.
Yeah, so has J.C. Horn.
Yeah, surprisingly, because wasn't he hurt and missed like almost all of his rookie year?
Yep. But I told you, I said, if there's anybody that's going to recover from it, it'd be great. That would be it. Patty Grimes says no turnover and run the ball. Well, I said the 2 guys on defense you have to avoid. And how do you avoid them? A heavy dose of the run, set up the play action. You got to early. We got to hit 1 pass deep to either Shark or JMO to get the secondary on their heels so they're not helping in the run game. Just 1. That's all it takes. We saw that when we played Minnesota. They didn't know what to do after we hit JMO with that first one.
I think something similar happens again tomorrow.
All I want for Christmas is a Lions playoff berth. I can see it happening. I'm not saying it is happening, but I can see it happening, and I'm not going to try to jinx it. I'm not going to try to overdo it, because I am very impressed with the way our Lions have turned around since week 8. Here we go. The people saying it was an underthrown ball again.
No, it was not.
It was a great defensive play by DJ Reed. If Jamison Williams hadn't turned around and tripped over his own 2 feet, that ball was right where JMO was turned around at.
Yeah.
He didn't have to slow down. He turned around and fell backwards. DJ Reed's arm is where JMO would have been standing. So had he been standing, it would have been pass interference, and it would have been a first down on the 1 anyways.
Yeah.
Plus, how many weeks before he got activated was JMO participating in full practices?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Like,
he's only had 2 weeks of real practice lately.
Like, what do y'all want?
Right. When he says Goff underthrew him, it blows my mind at the stupidity of, number one, announcers that don't know a fucking thing half the time about football, because it wasn't the color commentary guy. It wasn't the former NFL player that said it. It was the other guy, the actual commentator. That guy has no fucking clue.
So, speaking of Testaverde, I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was this bad. That's got to be the record.
What, against a single team?
No, 1988, 35 picks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was horrible that year.
Led the league that year, the next year with 22. Then 11 years later with the Jets with 25, and then also with Dallas in 04 with 20.
Mm-hmm. James Burgess says, Horn gets moved around more, but Goff is smart enough to run Saint back and forth to know what they are doing pre-snap. Absolutely. We do that all the time. We always put our receivers in motion. Laughing my fucking ass off, Jeremy. Calm down. Goff threw it late. The ball was either late or underthrown, but yeah, they need chemistry. Again, it wasn't late. It wasn't underthrown. It would have been right where he was standing if he didn't trip over his own 2 goddamn feet.
And turn the wrong way.
Right.
Yeah.
Intercepta Verde.
Yeah.
And Valerie Bordeaux comes in and says, happy holidays to all and congrats on the 200 in both episodes and subscribers, Jeremy. Thanks, Val. That is the queen of the prowl over at Detroit Lions on the Prowl. She stops in to check in and say something every now and then. Thank you so much, Val. Love you guys. You're part of the reason why I got started in this business to begin with. Oh. Yeah, and speaking of which, well, if we run the ball, we can set up the play action, but we do got to hit a pass deep to either Shark or JMO. Again, to get the secondary on their heels so they're not helping in the run game, because that's what their secondary does. J.C. Horn is an excellent tackler. He's actually an explosive tackler at corner. So if you allow him to play like Okuda up at the line of scrimmage, your running backs are going to have a very long day. That being said, on defense, I other than Laviska Shenault, is there anybody to contain in the wide receiver room?
DJ Moore, but he's having a year.
And he's been in and out of the lineup because he's been hurt lately.
Yeah.
They keep bringing him back too soon. I think they should have shut him down for the season. Going to be another one of those players that may get ruined on a bad team at the wrong time.
I forgot, but I feel like ultimately I knew this. So Testaverde threw 35 in 88. In 15 games, he missed one. George Blanda threw 42 in 14 games. Montana didn't have a strong. Go back to that one.
I hope no one trips on their own 2 fucking feet again and goes incomplete again. There we go. Joe Montana didn't have a strong arm, did the dink and dunk to Jerry Rice and had the run after catch most of the time. He actually did have he was okay, but he had a very similar arm in strength to Goff. It isn't going to get there the fastest, but it's going to be accurate and it's going to be downfield.
I would say Goff's arm is better than Montana's.
I think Montana just had way better decision making.
I mean, Goff's decision making isn't bad at all. This past week, I would say it was fucking impeccable.
Yeah, everybody that's like dogging him about what he did. He threw it out of bounds when he needed to. He got out of the pocket. He didn't take sacks. Think about this. During this run, he's only been sacked, 3 times? And twice was against the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Interceptions?
I was hoping it would be Namath, but it's not.
And Mark Malik says, Goff is awesome. He's doing great. Can't wait to stock the D this offseason. I'm not saying he's great, but he's been good. He's been what we need. Somebody who's smarter than Stafford ever was. Stafford had lately. And he's playing very well for what he's been doing. I mean, he's playing very well. You can't.
Statistically, since week 9, Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's got like a 70% completion percentage.
Yeah, I know, it's nuts. Ever since that game against us when we heard him and he went out for like, what was it, 2 drives?
Right. But I don't have – I saw the meme earlier, but I'm pretty sure Goff is number 2 because Sunshine's completion percentage is like over 70, 12-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and his passer rating is like 112. Goff is 66, 11-1, and 99.9.
And yes, Goff has not had a great record on the road, but you got to remember, he's won his last 3 road games with the team.
It's the freaking NFL. It's
no quarterback is good on the road. You look it up. Patrick Mahomes, he's been beaten 3 times, and guess what? 1 time was at home, the other 2 were on the road, and they were bad.
It's hard to win on the road, period.
Valerie Bordeaux, I wouldn't say Goff is smarter than Stafford, just the 2 of them are talented in different ways. Yeah, Stafford trusts his arm too much and makes the bad decision of throwing into double and triple coverage, which gets it picked off and pick sixth. Whereas Goff doesn't do that as often. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, Stafford doesn't win that game against the Jets.
Mm-mm.
Maybe he has 1 more touchdown earlier, but he's also got probably 2 picks.
2 to 3 picks.
Yeah.
Proof is in the pudding. It took until week 10 for somebody to surpass him for interceptions this season.
Oh.
And he's been out since what? Week 6? Week 7?
Yeah. That window in LA is closed.
Yeah, they have been eliminated.
And now they might be bad for a few years.
Patty Grimes just asked what we just answered. How many picks would Stafford have had against the Jets? 2 or 3?
At least 2.
Think about it. We had that pick 6 by Glover Quinn versus Sam Darnold with Matt Patricia in the first game. And the next thing you know, there was 6 interceptions in that game by Stafford against a defense that isn't as talented as this one.
He didn't throw 6.
Oh, that being said, what are our predictions for the road game versus the Panthers? Dom, I'll start with you.
I'm going like strictly score or like a brief game summary or what?
Just a score summary.
I'm going Carolina's defense is pretty good, not as good as the Jets. And I think their run defense is not good either. I'm saying 28-17.
Big Dan?
I'm going to go 34-27 Lions.
I think it's, well, let's see. The Panthers hasn't scored 24 points all season, so I think we win by a touchdown. So 24-17.
When was Patricia's first year?
I forgot already.
Matt Patricia, our first year, he had a 6-win season because
Right.
the Packers were sitting out the last game of the season.
What year was it?
2018-19.
18?
Mm-hmm. 2017 was Caldwell's last year when we went 9-7. 9-7, then we went 6-10, then we went 3-12-1, and then we had the 5-win season. Correct?
Yeah, Stafford threw 4 picks, not 6.
It seemed like 6.
I don't know. I don't remember
Good
any.
evening, Smokin' Jay. Ken Balrick says 27-10. Fuck Patricia, why bring up those horrible thoughts and memories during the goddamn holidays? It's memories. And also, the last time we played the Jets before this was then in regular season.
Darnold didn't have as good of a game as I thought he did then.
No, he didn't.
No, you know who it was? It was fucking Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah. That was his rookie year, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, wait, no, he came from the Browns, didn't he?
Yeah, that's when he went to the here and promptly averaged 10.2 yards a carry and had 2 touchdowns.
That being said, it's time for me to tell all you guys a special message. Merry Christmas, all you filthy animals. My gift for 200 subs on my 200 episode is I'm going to close us out by singing the Gridiron Hero song. Dom's favorite thing to laugh at. Forward down the field, a charging team that will not yield. And when the blue and silver wave, stand and cheer the brave. Rah, 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 go hard, win the game. With honor you will keep your fame. Down the field and gain a Lions victory. Go Lions!
Hell yeah.
James Burgess comes in and says we need to rename the oh shit screen, aka the one thrown to Brock, to the Spanish Inquisition screen. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition from the Little Giants. Jermaine Crowell? No, that was Isaiah.
No.
Isaiah, not peg leg.
James Burgess says Andre Ware. James Burgess says do it. And Dad says Juan Pride. Once again, I would like to thank the Kneecap Biting with Smokin' Jeremy is also presented by Sideline Sports. I'm also a writer for the Sports Empire Network, as well as the South Florida Tribune, which owns the Motor City Tribune, who I write my editorials for. Please go to the SouthFloridaTribune.com and check them out. I have about 3 pages. King S.J. says, ha ha, nicely done on the Gridiron Heroes. James Burgess says, Merry Christmas all. And I also want to thank A1 Tire and Auto Repair and TNT Auto Sales. They have been a great company to work for. Also, they sponsored my podcast as soon as they heard I was doing this with no questions asked. And I couldn't ask for a better boss or a better sponsor. And also my good friend, sometimes on the show when he isn't having technical difficulties, Dan Leonard of Mad Lab Custom Creations. This has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin' Jeremy B. Dom, any final thoughts?
It's like I was saying before, like I don't know how to get to the point. Like I'm optimistic because I always am. I just don't want to get overconfident. But like how do we not win this game?
Looking past it. That's exactly how we lose this game. If we look past this and only focus on the Packers, we will lose this game and the next game and be out of the playoffs. That's because we have had that type of vision before. We have been on the cusp of greatness and not taken it 1 week at a time. The difference is we haven't had a coach that's a player's coach that has the guys bought in, locked in, and nailing down.
I mean,
the next
dead, we can agree.
Mm-hmm. And I think,
but say that if we win out, can we say because Lions is also dead?
Yes. We can also say same old Lions is dead right now.
Oh, yeah, it's dead.
And Josh, the Panthers fan here, how y'all feeling? I'm feeling pretty good. I like our chances tomorrow. I have given kudos to who I needed to. I know who we got to watch out for on defense. It's Brian Burns and J.C. Horn. Those are the 2 biggest defensive threats, in my opinion, from watching them this season. Those guys are beasts, and Brian Burns being a Pro Bowler says it all when you don't have that many wins and you got somebody making the Pro Bowl.
Panthers are still alive too, aren't they?
Yeah, because they're only one in their division because they're one game behind the Tampax Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And Mark Malik says, Josh, we're feeling almost as confident as the Detroit Lions. How's Josh in Carolina feeling? Oh, man. Woo.
Wait, I don't get it. What'd I miss?
Josh asked, who's a Panthers fan, asked us how we're all feeling as Lions fans. Oh. And Josh says Panthers fans are not very confident. Josh, I wanted to say, when I was watching that show the other night, the one guy says, well, the Detroit Lions aren't very good, but my score prediction is the Lions are going to win. I was like, what? Wait. How could you say I don't think they're very good, but yet predict them to win?
Right?
The Panthers are who trade to get Stroud.
Yeah. No, they don't pick that early.
I know, because they're going to trade up with us.
I would love that, especially if we have the third pick. But if right now our pick is sitting at 4 or 5.
4.
I knew it was one or the other. That's what I'm saying. It isn't at 3 anymore. The only way it's going to be that is if Baker Mayfield plays like Baker Mayfield last week and not like he did 2 weeks ago. Josh, you know what? We all had high hopes, especially after watching Hard Knocks. We kind of all drank a little bit of the Kool-Aid a bit too much. But you know what? They're right where we thought they'd be at this point of the season, though, record-wise.
Yeah.
We thought. And Dom and I talked about it, and we talked ourselves into it before the season started when the schedule came out that this could be a 7 to 10 win season for the Lions. And he made one prediction that came true at the beginning. We didn't win any of those games. But I made a prediction through the second half of the season that he said couldn't happen. We beat both New York teams in New York.
One of those wins looking that good all of a sudden. But the only way we get to 10 is winning out. But, like, no one thought we would start out that bad.
No. I think we said through the first 6 games we'll either have at least 2, if not 4 wins tops.
Should have.
Somewhere in there. And if you look at the only games that we should have lost was New England and Dallas. I said about 2 games when you look at it and how it was played. Those are the only 2 games we should have lost.
Well, how about the fact that our only loss in 2 months was to Buffalo, and we handed it to them?
Pretty much, yeah. I said before the season started when I saw those 2 New York teams on the schedule that we'd split the New York series, and I was at least I was halfway wrong on that. But
if your defense can stop the run, it's over. If you're saying that, I want you to know, in the last, let's see, since what, Saquon Barkley, so that was week 10.
Yeah,
week 10. That was Saquon Barkley because week 11 was the next team, and then 12 was the Bills. We haven't had a runner hit 100 yards against us yet. Matter of fact, the best one for total yardage within that time was Josh Allen.
And their running backs are what, Donta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard? I mean, I'm not too worried about that.
Chuba Hubbard is good.
I know he is.
And Donta Foreman's been having a couple of good games here and there. But I look at last week. Last week we held them to 50 yards. Look at what we did to Minnesota. We held the entire team to 23 yards rushing.
Right. I think we could shut down their run. I mean, not completely overlooking them, but we should be able to stop them.
Saquon was the NFL leading rusher, correct?
Yep.
15 carries, 22 yards. 39, 60, 28, 87. Like, we demoralized this man.
And you know who else we demoralized the following week was Minnesota.
Dalvin Cook.
15 carries, 22 yards. Exactly. The exact same stats.
Our friend Dave in the Mayhem chat posted the Lions are wearing the white jerseys with the blue pants tomorrow. Just throw that out there. So.
Oh, well, don't do that. You got a match.
And what do the Lions have to do to get in the playoffs? We got to win, baby. That's all there is. Do you guys play the Bucks again this season, Josh?
2020.
And Michael Huck says, I like those jerseys. That is the tradition. Yes. So all you got to do is beat the Bucks.
Dalvin Cook had 23 yards.
Oh. Oh.
And he coughed up the football again, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, he had a fumble in both games.
Yep.
Both of those were key fumbles. Because in the first one, that got us back into that game.
Speaking of, because I was thinking about this earlier. So, first time we played Minnesota and we lost barely, we shut Jefferson the fuck down.
Yep.
This time he went ape shit, but no one else did anything. So if we get them in the playoffs, just kind of let that happen.
Yeah, you just basically stop him from scoring. That's all we did. We let him get his catches. We let him get his yards. We didn't let him get yards after the catch.
Like the Pistons in the 03 finals, Shaq and Kobe, like, go ahead and get your 60. No one else is getting more than 10 total.
Right. That we didn't care about Shaq. Everybody's like, hack a Shaq. I was like, nah, don't even send him to the line. Let him get that dunk.
Right.
I still can't believe we beat them in 5 that series, though.
I totally can.
The way
I wasn't expecting it, but no.
I think it was game 1. But didn't they win game 1 and then we swept them out? Or did we win 1 and they won the second?
They won the second game. The only time they scored 100 points.
Right. And that was the only time they were able to spread the ball around because we were trying to focus on Kobe and Shaq. And Larry Brown was the coach at the time, right?
Yeah.
He said, let them have theirs. Shut everybody else down and that team's done. Because Shaq can't be on the floor for 60 minutes straight.
Right.
And Kobe can, but he's going to get tired and start missing shots, which is what we saw at the end of the game. And that was when Ben and Rashid was getting all the rebounds in the fourth quarter. What is our remaining schedule? We have we have the Bears, and then we play the Packers in Lambeau. James versus Jets fans missed something big. One team ran for 100 yards. One team ran for 50. Bills Parcells would ask, guess which team won? You're absolutely right, James.
To Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, everyone on your team, if you're listening, please do us a favor and beat the Packers.
Yes. Because if they win, I think they'll beat the Vikes because the Vikes will have nothing to play for after they beat the Giants this week.
And I don't want to see a game, and I called it as soon as I saw the schedule. I said, the NFL seems to think that the Lions might be relevant because we have a Week 18 road game against the Packers.
Right. Because
and the time for that game,
is to be determined.
Yeah, there's a possibility it could be flexed if that game means something.
Right. If that game means something, they could flex it to either the Sunday night game or they can flex it to Monday Night Football for the last Monday Night Football game of the year.
Yes, sir.
And this is the way. Yeah.
No Monday night game, Week 18.
No, they should.
And I don't think they would even flex it to prime time unless it's going to be like.
James Verger says death by aquatic mammal to the cheese. You know what I mean. Oh.
I just want to see the Packers lose because I love seeing Aaron Rodgers whine and pout like a bitch.
Right. What I'm saying is Minnesota's going to play this week. Next week they have the Packers. Is Shark under contract next season? No, he was given a 1-year prove-it deal to stay healthy. He pretty much has to play every game and play the way he has been the last couple of games for the rest of the year, and they may consider it. Myself, I almost would rather get a rookie, a contested catch guy in the 5th or 6th round, somebody around 6'3" to 6'6" and around 220 to 230 pounds. A guy that I like that is in that era as a day 3 pick is Bryce Ford Wheaton out of West Virginia. He's 6'5", 220 pounds, and he runs like the wind, and he catches everything and has great route running. He just had a bad quarterback.
I'm sorry. I spoke about that 03 Pistons-Lakers final. They beat us in game 2, 99-91. The only time that 100 points were scored by anyone was the closeout game. We scored 100. 87-75. Then we lost 99-91. 88-68.
So you think Jamal Williams? Are you talking about Jamal Williams or Jameson? Because we have 2 Jay Williams on the team. So the one is technically the number 2, but he's been playing the starter lately because DeAndre Swift is ass.
I'm assuming he's talking about J-Mo there.
I think J-Mo's going to be our number 1 going forward after this season because he came into the season too late to be the number 1.
What do you technically call number 1? Like, I don't see him getting as many targets or catches as Amon-Ra.
I mean, Amon-Ra is probably the best slot receiver we've seen come out since Anquan Bolden? Golden Saint?
Bolden was a fucking monster. 211 or 220 yards in his NFL debut against us in a loss.
Mm-hmm. You see, what's crazy is when you hear about great players from other teams, lately, the Lions have said, fine, he can have his. We'll shut everybody else down. And that's what I see him doing. And that's why I think DJ Moore and Laviska Shenault, Laviska Shenault has kind of underwhelmed since he was traded to the Panthers. DJ Moore is a beast, but he has to be able to stay on the field. And I think you guys will be in the same position that Jacksonville was in with Shark. Come the end of his contract, do you go ahead and extend him? What do you do? Because he cannot consistently stay on the field.
I think they already extended him.
Did they really?
I think.
Or did they just give him his 5th-year option? Because wasn't he a first-round pick?
I'm going to look now. This is his 4th year. He's not having a bad season.
No, he's not having a bad season, but he's missed games. That's what I'm getting at. Availability is the best ability, especially when you're young.
According to this, hasn't missed any. 14 games.
Because they talked about an injury and he went out. Or maybe it was just he went out for the rest of the game type thing.
And he's already got a career high in touchdowns.
Yeah, they haven't extended him yet.
No.
Not DJ Moore.
Receiving kick punt returns. Why would you do that? Why do teams do that?
What?
Let their 1 or 2 or even their 3rd receiver return kicks or punts. Like, well, we used to do that with Golden Tate. Like, what are you doing? Oh, here's Wayne Casey making excuses for losses.
No, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, he gone at the end of the year. So,
you hope so. you think so, but it almost kind of feels like the Matt Patricia excuse, like, oh, Cade got hurt.
Yeah.
Even though we weren't playing well at all before he got hurt.
Well, Ken Ballrick says, time to go. My eyes are drooping. J-Mo could be getting 6+ targets per game by the time we play Minnesota in the playoffs. Absolutely he could, because by then he should have the playbook and the route running down for in the NFL. He is a complete route runner, but you got to remember, he hasn't played a down until he came back against his first game he played was Minnesota, right? No, that was the second. That was the second game, because that's when he got his first catch. The first game was the week before versus the Jags when he was used more as a decoy. He was targeted 3 times, had 1 drop, but really it shouldn't have been considered a drop because he had already stepped out of bounds before the ball got there. That's not a catchable ball. And he was used more as a decoy. Every other down he came in was a running play, and it worked to our advantage because the secondary was on its heels, and they didn't know what to do.
He can stay at boy for the whole rest of the year because he's not. I mean, he might be, right physically, but he's not there as far as like game experience.
Right. That's
playbook,
what I meant.
Timing.
Yeah, he'll stay the decoy. They might toss him a couple extra targets or whatever.
Ooh,
but
a guy in fantasy wants my first-round pick for J-Mo. Should I consider it? If that's a keeper league and he's talking about your first-round pick in the next draft, yes.
Yeah.
James Burgess says, shut down the run, send hell after the QB, eventually fill the holes, and have someone who can run a playbook properly. Pretty much. It is a dynasty league. Then yes, that is well worth it. A first-round pick for next season out of what's going to be in what's available to have J-Mo on your roster in that dynasty keeper league. I would make that trade.
Yeah, I still would for sure.
As soon as you said dynasty league, I know what he's talking about. And I take it it's a PPR league?
I mean, almost all of them are.
Yeah.
It's funny because considering how this offense is supposed to be run-based, like we might see a change with that next year with a healthy J-Mo, with Amon-Ra. Every offensive lineman ever can pass block. I don't know. Real interesting to see what happens in the offseason.
Normally, we would be hearing from my friend Eric Sean in the comments. His wife's sister is taking a turn for the worse and is clinging on for dear life. So I would like to ask everybody to say a prayer for his family, because also his mother-in-law is in the hospital too.
Damn.
So,
prayers up, Eric Sean. Times 2.
Prayers up, man.
And Sean is known by Eric Sean, Eric Dalton, but the name he should be known by was the family that owned was part owners of WJR and Channel 7, the Vaughns. That was his step family. That's the guy he considers his dad. That's why he has so much inside information and he shares it with me. And so his dad actually hired Doug Karsh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. As in Karsh and Anderson, and the guy that calls the Michigan games. So that's a pretty good guy to have as one of your fans. Who we all sat with. That's who got us as close as we were to the action there at the Family Fun Fest, Dom.
Hell yeah.
I still can't believe my dad and I just sat down, and 5 minutes later, I just got here. Where you're at?
Right. I would have been there sooner, but I had to walk for fucking ever. Hot as fuck that day.
It was weird that day because it wasn't hot that morning when we got there.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I got out and I was like, thank God I cracked that, my moonroof. You know, the electric moonroof. I left the thing almost closed, just this much open. You know, the little shade for it to keep the sun out. I left it this much open and cracked that thing. You know, just hit it to where it stopped, where no one can really do anything.
Right.
And that was a good thing.
I know what I wanted to look at.
And Cool was thinking the same thing, and he said, yes, PPR. And Josh says, all right, going to bed. Can't wish you luck tomorrow, but I'll be back on your short. Josh, I appreciate you coming in. I met him because I checked out the CP3 Panthers podcast the other night. And like I said, I jumped in when they were doing score predictions. And this one guy was like almost trash talking the Lions. And he says, yeah, they're not that good here. They're not that good there. I'm not really scared of this person, that person, or that person. That being said, I got the Lions winning 24-17. I was like, how are you going to bash almost the whole team and then turn around and say they're going to win?
Better be there.
That being said, guys, have a great evening. It was great talking. Josh, I'm glad you got a chance to come in here. Next show will be Monday night at 9:30, which will be the post-game show from today, because I'm not doing a post-game show on Christmas. You can't make me. So I will see everybody Monday night right after I am on. Oh, wait, no, there is no show Monday. So we can do it at 8 o'clock. The regular time, we will do a regular 8 o'clock start because there is no Fire Up Michigan on Monday.
All right.
Josh says a lot of people sleeping on the Lions, but I think they are really good. They have came around. It took some. We had to get rid of one of the coaches. The assistant coach that was the defensive passing game coordinator to start the season was ass. That's all I can say about it. But thank you for watching Kneecap Biting with Smokin' Jeremy B. Spade and neuter your pets, cats, parents, whatever you want.